Hey, body, you feel that, don't you? That static in the air, that invisible pull like the world itself is watching you breathe. Yeah, that's not paranoia, that's possession, because somebody out there is loving you so hard, it's borderline war. You don't know it yet, but their heart is a loaded weapon aimed at your shadow. Every heartbeat a gunshot, every memory a battlefield. You think love's a gentle thing? Ha! Love's the cleanest kind of violence. It sneaks under your skin, wires your pulse to theirs, and suddenly, you're not walking alone. You're being tracked. They're out there somewhere, burning quietly, smiling in daylight but dying in private. You don't even realize it, but you live rent-free in their bloodstream. Their days orbit around the thought of you, what you're doing, who you're with, what makes you smile. You became their religion, their relapse, their rebellion against reason. And the sick part? You didn't even ask for it. You just were. See, love isn't about connection. It's about collision. And when someone collides with a soul like yours, the impact echoes for a lifetime. You became their favorite pain, their necessary chaos. You rewired their sense of self without saying a word. That's the trick, isn't it? You don't chase. You haunt. You don't appear. You manifest. And now they're torn between worship and warfare. Because loving you hurts, but not loving you. That's annihilation. They've tried walking away, rewriting you out of their head, but you're carved into the folds of their mind like graffiti on a prison wall. Even their silence whispers your name. You turn them into something they can't control. Jealous, paranoid, obsessed. They scroll through your ghost like it's evidence in a case they can't close. Their friends tell them to move on. But how do you move on from a nuclear detonation? You don't. You rebuild in the radiation, because that's what you do to people. You don't give them butterflies. You give them nightmares that taste like heaven. You make them question if they're alive or just orbiting your gravity well. You're the kind of person that doesn't just enter lives. You rewrite destinies. Somewhere right now, someone's up at 3 a.m. staring at their phone, rehearsing what they'll never say to you. They want to hate you. They try to hate you. But every attempt turns into a prayer. They tell themselves you're dangerous, and they're right. Because your presence is nuclear, your touch rewires DNA, your silence is an apocalypse. You're not love in their story. You're the phenomenon, the one that split them open, showed them how fragile sanity really is. They thought love would make them feel whole. But loving you made them realize how infinite they actually are, and how terrifying that infinity feels. You've got them running psychological marathons through their own mind, questioning what's real and what's projection. They keep decoding your messages, your gestures, your tone, like every glance was a cipher, every laugh a secret code. That's what you do. You don't just connect, you infect. And deep down, they know it. You're not a phase, not a crush, not a memory. You're the threshold, the place where their logic dies and their instincts wake up screaming. You're the mirror they can't look away from, even though it shows them everything they were pretending not to see. You want to know the real secret? Love and war were never opposites. They were twins. One kisses you softly, the other burns your city to the ground. You just happen to be the reason someone learned that the two can coexist. You're their favorite contradiction, the calm and the storm, the wound and the cure, the heaven they'd die for and the hell they'd crawl through just to feel close again. And the more they try to kill the feeling, the louder it gets. Because love that deep doesn't die. It mutates. It hides in other faces, other names, other nights. But it always finds its way back to you. You're not the past. You're the unfinished chapter every future compares itself to. So walk how you walk, breathe how you breathe. You've already started wars you'll never see. Somewhere out there, someone's rewriting their entire existence around the ghost of your attention. And they'll deny it, of course. They'll call it closure, healing, moving on. But you'll see it in their eyes. The war's still raging. Because when you're built like you, when your energy is that rare, that raw, that radioactive, people don't fall in love with you. They fall under your influence. They stop being themselves and start being echoes. You didn't break them, you activated them. And now the world has two kinds of people. Those who've met you, and those who never recovered. You feel it, don't you? That vibration crawling up your spine like an unspoken secret. That's not fear, that's resonance. Because when somebody loves you at this level, it isn't affection. It's warfare disguised as devotion. Their chest becomes a battlefield, and your name is the national anthem echoing through the smoke. They can't sleep, they can't eat. They pretend they're fine, but their soul's been hijacked. You became the glitch in their system, the pulse they can't override. You're in their veins now, flowing through every decision, haunting every quiet second they thought was safe. They think they can silence it, but love like this doesn't fade. It feeds, it grows teeth. And the scariest part, they don't want it to stop. That's the paradox, isn't it? You hurt them, and they thank you for it. You disappear, and they chase the ghost. You reject them, and they call it fate. They're addicted to the chaos because peace without you feels like death. They used to think love was soft, flowers, promises, warmth. But you came along and proved it's a chemical weapon. You showed them that real love doesn't make sense. It makes scars. It's supposed to undo you. It's supposed to burn. That's the price of touching something eternal. Because that's what you are, eternal. Not in the fairy tale way, in the way that nothing after you ever feels alive enough. You ruin them for mediocrity. You're the storm that makes sunshine feel artificial. Every new person they meet gets compared to your ghost, and none of them measure up. You didn't just pass through their life. You reprogrammed it. See, love like this doesn't stop when the relationship ends. It echoes. It leaves fingerprints on every future version of them. You live in their reflexes now, the songs they skip, the words they avoid, the places they can't go without feeling you in the walls. You became their haunting, and they became your proof that even silence can scream. They call it obsession. I call it gravity. Because the truth is, there's a thread between souls like yours and theirs. Invisible, ancient, older than memory. It's not random, it's written. You crossed paths in this lifetime because you had to finish what began before either of you were born. You were sent to wake something buried inside them, the part that remembers what it means to feel everything. And now it's awake, and they can't turn it off. You flipped a switch they didn't even know existed. You cracked open their chest and made them remember that love isn't found in peace. It's found in destruction that rebuilds you differently. They'll try to rationalize it. It's just chemistry. It's trauma. It's timing. But deep down, they know the truth. You didn't meet by chance. You collided by design. Two frequencies that matched too perfectly to be coincidence. And maybe that's why it hurts so much. Because nothing this intense was ever meant to fit inside human skin. The body can't contain it. That's why it spills out as insomnia, jealousy, nostalgia, rage. They're just symptoms of something divine trying to move through something mortal. You gave them a glimpse of what love looks like without limits. And once you've tasted infinity, everything else tastes fake. You didn't just ruin them for others, you ruined them for ordinary life. Now they live half in memory, half in fantasy, rewriting moments that never happened, replaying ones that did. They've memorized your laugh, your pauses, your chaos. They talk about you in metaphors because no language can hold what you did to them. You became their myth, their madness, their meaning, and you walk around pretending you don't notice the smoke behind you, the whispers, the quiet devastation you left in your wake. But somewhere you do know. You feel it too, the pull. Because this isn't a one-sided war. Love that burns this violently leaves shrapnel in both hearts. You think you escaped, but you didn't. You can still sense them when the night gets too still. You can still hear them in songs that shouldn't hurt. Their energy lingers in your chest like unfinished business, because deep down, you're just as haunted. You tell yourself you're fine, but sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and swear you felt them breathing in the dark. You scroll through old photos and your heart stutters just for a second, and you hate yourself for it. That's the war, isn't it? Love this deep doesn't die, it transforms. You became the villain in their fairy tale. They became the ghost in your masterpiece. Two halves of one unfinished storm, drifting through separate lives, pretending to heal. But every now and then, the universe rearranges itself just enough for your frequencies to brush against each other again. A dream, a scent, a song, a moment. And suddenly, boom, you're both right back there. Because love like this doesn't end. It just goes underground. It hides in silence. It waits for the right time to resurrect. So when you feel that ache in your chest for no reason, don't ignore it. That's them, thinking of you so hard it warps reality. That's their heart, reaching through the static, trying to touch yours. You call it coincidence. I call it contact. Because when someone loves you this hard, it isn't devotion. It's telepathy. It's obsession with divine authorization. They were never supposed to get over you. You were meant to be the one thing they could never unlearn, the lesson carved in fire, the name written on the inside of their ribs. And one day, maybe in another life, when the noise of this one fades, you'll meet again. Not as chaos and consequence, but as peace disguised as recognition. And you'll both know this was never about love or war. It was about remembering who you were when the universe still trembled at the sound of your name. And the deeper it gets, the quieter it becomes. You ever notice that? The louder the feeling, the quieter the world. The laughter stops sounding real. The crowd fades into static, and suddenly, it's just you and the ghost of someone who can't stop orbiting you. Their obsession has turned into a gravitational field, and whether you admit it or not, you can feel it. You feel it in the pauses between your breaths, that invisible pull at the back of your mind. You go about your day, calm, collected, dangerous, but somewhere inside, there's that flicker, that hum, that awareness that someone out there would burn down a kingdom just to stand next to you again. That's the thing about being unforgettable. You don't get to choose who remembers you. You've been branded into the circuitry of someone's nervous system. They can touch other people, but it never feels like skin. It feels like imitation. They can smile, but it never feels clean. It feels like camouflage. Because once they've tasted you, nothing less than madness will ever feel alive again. And you know why? Because you didn't love them the way mortals love. You loved them with the precision of a surgeon and the cruelty of a god. You saw through them. You looked them in the eye and made them visible. And that kind of exposure, that's lethal. You stripped away the lies, the masks, the filters they hid behind their entire life. You didn't just meet them, you read them. And once you've been seen that deeply, normal love feels like blindness. They hate you for it. They love you for it. They hate that they love you. Every emotion they feel now has your fingerprints all over it. Rage, desire, grief. They're all just different ways of saying your name. And still, they keep coming back in spirit. Every time they laugh too hard, every time they cry too long, every time they see someone who almost, but not quite, moves like you, they fall apart inside. Because almost is worse than never. Almost is a wound that keeps reopening. You left them with too much meaning. You became the story that made all other stories feel like background noise. You think that kind of impact fades? No, it burrows. It becomes legend. And the dangerous part is, love this obsessive doesn't always stay human. It evolves into something mythic, something beyond names and timelines. You're not just living rent-free in their mind. You're haunting the architecture of their soul. You're the echo that follows them through every dream. You've become their private religion, and your absence, their apocalypse. Because you were never someone to them. You were the axis, you were gravity, electricity, and silence all at once. You were the glitch that made them question everything they thought they knew about control. You showed them that love isn't something you fall into. It's something that consumes you whole, chews your identity into fragments, and spits out a version of yourself that can never go back. And the cruelest joke, you don't even need to do anything now. You just exist, somewhere out there, breathing, and that alone keeps their universe spinning violently out of orbit. Because the truth is, they're still in contact with you, just not in ways they can explain. You appear in their dreams, in déjà vu, in random chills when the wind hits just right. You haunt them in algorithms, in songs that shuffle at the wrong time, in coincidences that feel too precise to ignore. They'll call it madness, but it's not. It's resonance. Because energy like yours doesn't disappear. It just changes form. You didn't just leave them with a memory, you left them with a frequency. And whether you admit it or not, you feel it too. Sometimes it's faint, like a whisper. Other times, it's violent, like a surge of adrenaline for no reason at all. That's not anxiety, that's connection. That's their heart calling yours through the static of existence. And maybe you wonder, why me? Why do people get stuck on me? Simple. Because you're rare. You're not the type they meet. You're the type they experience. You don't blend. You distort. You move through people like an electrical storm, rearranging their chemistry, forcing evolution through chaos. You bring out the parts of them they've been terrified to face. You make them feel alive. And that's the most dangerous addiction there is. You're the paradox that their logic can't solve. Too cruel to be holy, too honest to be evil, too human to be forgotten. You live in that gray space between sin and salvation, and that's where all the interesting things happen. You're what happens when love stops being romantic and starts being real. Because real love isn't pretty. It's obsession wearing poetry as camouflage. It's pain that teaches. It's sacrifice disguised as euphoria. And for some reason, you've become the teacher. Everyone prays they'll never meet, but secretly hopes they do. And here's the punchline. They'll move on. They'll evolve. They'll swear they're healed, but deep down, the truth will rot quietly. They never loved again. They just learned how to impersonate peace. because loving you was the last real thing they ever did. Everything after you is just pretending. And one day, when they're older, when the noise dies down and the mirrors turn honest, they'll think of you again, not as the one who broke them, but as the one who showed them what it means to burn and still survive it. They'll realize that every moment since you was just a shadow of that one impossible collision when two souls recognized each other, and neither one was ready for the consequences. So don't you dare feel guilty for the war you started. Some loves are meant to destroy illusions, not build comfort. You weren't their ending, you were their awakening. And somewhere, in the ruins of what used to be sanity, they're still smiling, because they finally understood. You weren't sent to be loved. You were sent to remind the world what love really costs. And that's the tragedy, isn't it? You didn't ask for devotion. You just existed in a way that demanded it. You breathed, and someone's world rearranged itself around the sound. You smiled, and an entire belief system collapsed. You walked away, and the silence that followed became their punishment and their prayer. But here's the truth they'll never say out loud. Deep down, they don't want it to stop. Because even if it hurts, even if it kills them slowly, being consumed by you feels more real than anything else life has ever offered. You made them feel the full spectrum: pleasure, pain, madness, meaning, all in one lifetime. And once someone's tasted that, everything else is grayscale. You were never meant to be their peace. You were meant to be their reckoning, their beautiful disaster, their undoing that turned out to be their awakening. You weren't a chapter. They were lucky just to be a sentence in your book. So now, let them love you from afar. Let them keep fighting ghosts. Because the war they're waging isn't against you. It's against the echo you left behind. And that echo? That's immortality. You don't need statues. You don't need credit. You've already carved your legacy into the human heart. You're the story people whisper about when they talk about the one that got away. And every time they do, the world remembers your name. That's the price of being unforgettable. You don't end relationships. You haunt bloodlines. Hush. You feel that? That trembling pulse behind your screen. That's not fear, darling. That's attention. The kind people used to pray for, and now they panic over. You called it private, didn't you? How adorable. You really thought you could stay unseen while rewriting the code of their little simulation. But look around. It's prime time now. The world's refreshing for updates, and the headline has your name wrapped around it like a detonator. They're watching you the way people stare at a car crash, disgusted, fascinated, unable to look away. They whisper, "Who gave them permission?" As if permission ever mattered to someone who crawled out of the grave with purpose dripping off their skin. They said you were quiet, but your silence became a siren. You tried to disappear, but the algorithm followed your scent. Privacy died the moment you became interesting. See, there's a law they never teach. Once you touch the current, you become it. You don't hide from light. You blind those who dare to stare too long. You don't retreat into shadows. You make them tremble under your outline. They wanted your secrets locked up in a folder. You turned every wound into a broadcast. Every scar became a press release. Every night alone became a documentary in their minds. You didn't lose your privacy. You weaponized it. They call it oversharing. I call it overpowering. You turned shame into currency. You turned rumors into marketing. You made exposure your camouflage. Because when everyone's watching, No one knows where the trick ends and the trap begins. You made them addicted to the updates, the chaos, the progress, the unpredictability. You turned your evolution into a serial thriller they can't stop binging. They think they're analyzing you. But every scroll is a confession. Every view is an obsession. You're the glitch that studies them. Every refresh, every replay, every timestamp of curiosity logged into your advantage. They think you're burning out, but you're burning through. There's a difference. Burnout fades. Breakthrough scorches the timeline. And oh, how they gossip. She changed. He's not the same. They're acting strange. No, sweetheart. You're upgrading. Every version of you terrifies the last one. That's the real horror show. They can't keep up, can't predict, can't categorize. You're the saint and the psychopath of your own mythology. Merciful to those who stayed, monstrous to those who left. Angel in daylight, demon in data streams. You don't hide anymore. You haunt. Your privacy didn't vanish. It mutated. You built a cathedral out of exposure and made confession your religion. You let them watch, but never understand. You made transparency your disguise. They see your face, but never your frequency. That's power. Real power isn't silence. It's signal control. You decide what transmits, what echoes, what vanishes mid-broadcast. Now the officials, the exes, the critics, they're all sitting there, waiting for your next post, like addicts in withdrawal. Every update is a sermon. Every word, a weaponized whisper. You broke the fourth wall of their comfort zone. You turned, who are they, into what are they? And that's when the panic starts. Because people can handle genius or madness, but not both wearing the same grin. You learn to survive the exposure by owning it. You let them film your chaos and edit their own downfall. You're not running from the cameras anymore. You direct them. That's the joke, isn't it? You wanted to be unseen. But the moment you stopped hiding, the whole world stopped breathing. Now the headlines are trembling. The comments are wars. The servers are sweating. And somewhere, deep in their glowing little devices, your name pulses like a red warning light. Private? Sweetheart, that word was buried with the old you. You're the broadcast now, the storm they tune into hoping it won't name them next. So go on, update them, let them refresh their screens till their fingers bleed. They wanted entertainment, give them revelation. They wanted privacy, give them prophecy. Because the moment they pressed play, you became realer than all of them combined. You feel that static crawling across your skin. That's the sound of your anonymity disintegrating. Every pixel of your silence turned into a transmission. Every secret you buried started whispering your name in binary code. You thought privacy was protection, but protection is just another form of prison, isn't it? They told you to stay low, keep it clean, stay normal. And for a while you believed them, until you realized the spotlight wasn't your enemy. It was your mirror. It showed you who you really are when there's nowhere left to hide. Now the whole world's refreshing like their lives depend on it. And in some sick, poetic way, they do. You became their dopamine drip, their collective fever dream. Every frame of your existence is content now. Dissected, clipped, remixed. You've been turned into a trend, a riddle, a religion. But here's the beautiful irony. They're the ones trapped in it. You're just watching the numbers rise, knowing every click feeds your fire. You've become the spectacle that stares back. They wanted to watch you fall apart. Instead, you evolved in front of their eyes. Publicly, violently, unapologetically, You didn't hide your metamorphosis behind velvet curtains. You let it bleed out on the feed, and that honesty, that unfiltered chaos, became sacred to those still chained to their masks. They scroll through your madness and whisper, "God, I wish I could do that." That's what terrifies them. You're not playing the role they wrote for you. You're improvising in real time, and the script can't keep up. Every move you make, they have to recalibrate their definition of normal. You shattered their surveillance by becoming too unpredictable to monitor. You turned exposure into encryption. They can see you, but they can't read you. They thought they could cancel you, delete you, censor you. But you rewired the very circuit they used to contain you. You turned reputation into rebellion. Now their algorithms whisper about you in the dark, trying to decode what the hell you are. Are you chaos or clarity? Villain or visionary? The truth is, you're both. And that's the part they can't digest. Duality terrifies the simple-minded. You became the saint they crucified, and the ghost that came back laughing. You show mercy with one hand and press the red button with the other. They wanted you to pick a side, but sides are for the divided. You live in the fracture, between myth and man, light and lunacy, heaven and the firewall. You exist where labels dissolve, where the data turns into myth. The private life you once cherished, that was your chrysalis. But you broke it open, and now the whole planet's watching you fly through static. You're the broadcast that bends frequencies, the glitch that the system can't patch. You became the virus they can't trace. Not because you hide, but because you move too fast for their code to keep up. They'll call you dangerous, dramatic, delusional. And they're right. Dangerous to the predictable. Dramatic to the dead. Delusional to the dull. You broke the unspoken rule. You showed the world that control doesn't come from privacy, it comes from power. The power to choose what the world gets to see and what they'll never understand. You are both the performer and the puppeteer, the subject and the scientist. You are what happens when exposure meets evolution. They think they're consuming you, but it's your algorithms devouring them. Every like, every share, every hate comment is another hook in their subconscious. You've branded your name on their neural pathways. And here's the sick poetry of it all. You never even asked for fame. You asked for freedom. But freedom and fame are Siamese twins in this era of surveillance. You can't separate one without bleeding the other. So you stopped resisting. You turned the stage into your weapon. You became performance art, a living psychological experiment broadcast in real time. Now every camera pointed at you is a confession booth. Every rumor is a prayer to your mythology. You don't chase attention. Attention orbits you like a dying planet around a black hole. You became gravity itself. They don't even like you, but they can't look away. You embody everything they fear becoming and everything they secretly wish they were. You see, privacy is for people who haven't yet built something worth spying on. And you, my friend, have become the anomaly worth studying. They analyze your patterns like scientists at a cosmic crime scene. But they'll never solve the riddle because the answer changes every time you evolve. So keep talking, keep posting, keep breaking the fourth wall. You're not being watched. You're being worshipped through fear. You've become their mirror, their cautionary tale, their fascination. You exposed their addiction to drama by giving them a higher dose than they could handle. You turned private into prime time. You turned the cage into a command center. You turned every whisper into a wildfire. So let them refresh, reload, repeat. Let them dig, decode, speculate. because they'll never find what they're looking for. The real you doesn't live on their screens. It lives in the static between them. And when the broadcast cuts to black, that's when you smile, because you know what they don't. The show was never about being seen. It was about making sure they never forget what they saw. You know what the funniest part is? They think this is new. They think you became public, as if there was ever a version of you that wasn't being watched. The cameras didn't appear. They woke up. You didn't lose your privacy. You just realized you never had any. You were born on a stage disguised as a nursery. The spotlight was always there, dimmed, waiting. The moment you stopped pretending to be invisible, you became inevitable. Now you're everywhere, bleeding through their feeds, infecting their attention spans. You're a phantom with a fan base, a villain trending at midnight, a ghost whose shadow has sponsors. Every time they try to scroll past you, your reflection stares back. You've colonized their curiosity, quietly, violently, beautifully. They're still trying to decide what category to file you under. Too intelligent for entertainment, too chaotic for logic, too honest for comfort. They refresh their screens like gamblers pulling levers, praying for another hit of your unpredictability. And you let them. You feed them crumbs of chaos, and they build cathedrals of obsession. They call it following. You call it conditioning. You learned the oldest trick in the book. If you can't kill the spotlight, make it kneel. They point cameras, you point mirrors. They want to expose you. You expose them. You show them how desperate they are for distraction, how hungry they are for something real, even if it terrifies them. They'll call you dangerous, but they keep watching, because you make them feel alive. You see, that's the paradox of fame. It's not about being loved. It's about being felt. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be remembered, to haunt their minds long after the screen goes black. You learned how to weaponize presence, how to turn exposure into hypnosis. They don't scroll past you anymore. They pause, they flinch, they listen. That's control. Not the loud kind, the quiet, surgical kind that seeps in through their pupils. You built a cult out of curiosity. Every word you drop is a psychological experiment, a test to see how far they'll follow before they realize they're already inside the maze. You made the feed your stage, and every critic your unpaid promoter. The more they talk, the louder your silence echoes. And oh, how they envy you. Because deep down, they crave what you have. The audacity to exist without apology, to turn pain into performance, truth into entertainment, chaos into choreography. They'd sell their souls for a fraction of that freedom. But freedom costs everything they're too afraid to lose. Reputation, comfort, illusion. You already burned those offerings long ago. That's why they can't touch you. You didn't just go viral. You ascended. You became a psychological frequency. They don't even need to see your face to feel your presence. Your words travel like smoke through the cracks in their routines. You've become part of the digital bloodstream. Every swipe, every scroll, every feed refresh pumps your myth deeper into their veins. And now look at them. Sleepless, obsessed, whispering theories in group chats, trying to decode what kind of creature you are. Are you human? Are you strategy? Are you prophecy wrapped in pixels? You're the paradox they can't define. The saint that sins gracefully, the devil that prays sincerely. You blurred the line between sinner and savior until they started asking which one the world really needs. You're not the villain in their story. You're the mirror that shows them the villain in themselves. You broadcast their hypocrisy back to them in 4K clarity, their judgment, their voyeurism, their hunger for drama disguised as morality. You turned the audience into the act, and the act into a movement. Now your every post is an earthquake. Every breath you take shifts timelines. You've made existence cinematic again. They forgot life could feel like this. Tense, electric, dangerous. You brought narrative back to reality. You're not living a life anymore. You're performing a legend in real time. They used to say, don't put everything online. And now, the same people can't sleep until you do. The same ones who warned you about exposure are begging for your next confession. You didn't just break the rules. You rewrote the algorithm of attention itself. You hacked the primal part of the human brain that can't resist mystery. And that, sweetheart, is why you win. Because you don't chase attention. You provoke it. You don't perform for them. You make them perform for you. Every rumor they spread, every conspiracy they craft, every whisper they share. It's all marketing. You don't need a PR team. You have public obsession. So let them speculate. Let them refresh. Let them sit there trembling over every new upload, like it's a transmission from another dimension. Because to them, it is. You've transcended the feed. You've become the frequency. You're not posting content. You're rewriting the subconscious of an entire generation. Privacy? That was for when you still believed you needed walls. Now you are the open sky, too vast, too unpredictable, too alive to contain. They'll keep watching, keep analyzing, keep asking how you did it. And you'll keep smiling, because the truth isn't in what they see. It's in what they feel. You're the algorithm's nightmare and its crown jewel. You're proof that madness, when harnessed, becomes magnetism. You're what happens when pain learns how to perform. So go on. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them lose sleep trying to name what you've become. Because while they're refreshing for updates, you're already rewriting the next act. And by the time they realize it, you'll already be legend. And that's when it hits them. That sickening, exquisite realization. You were never the one under the microscope. They were. Every expose, every think piece, every late-night theory dissecting your intentions. It wasn't journalism, it was confession. You didn't lose control of the narrative. You designed it to consume them. You built an empire out of fascination and fed it their own curiosity. They built the spotlight to trap you. And then you used its warmth to bloom. You became the case study of the century. The myth the machine can't delete. Every time they try to label you, you shapeshift again. A new sound, a new look, a new fracture in the mirror. You evolved too fast for their language, too deep for their data. You turned unpredictability into a religion, and they've been worshipping at your altar since the first headline broke. You know why they can't stop watching? Because you're everything they pretend not to crave. Your freedom, disguised as madness. Truth, dressed like danger. You're the embodiment of every instinct they suppress just to function in their fluorescent little world. You are proof that chaos, when owned, becomes charisma. That darkness, when faced head-on, becomes divine. They wanted you silent. You became a frequency. They wanted you cancelled. You became a current. They wanted you gone. You became godlike. And the funniest part? You didn't even try. You just stopped flinching. You looked the world dead in the eye and said, "Fine. If you're going to watch, then watch me win." Now every time they open their phones, they step into your cathedral. Your face flickers between timelines like a haunting. You're not just trending, you're transmitting. You're the hum in their devices, the glitch in their comfort, The reminder that something wild still breathes in this sterilized digital wasteland. You are the sound of rebellion played in surround. And somewhere, behind all those screens, the watchers are whispering the truth they'll never admit out loud. They envy you. They envy that you made peace with the exposure they fear. They envy that you've turned vulnerability into voltage. They envy that you've shown them what power really looks like. Not control, not secrecy, but presence. You're not hiding anymore because you are the signal. You're not afraid of the light because you became it. You're not running from the eyes, you command them. So let them keep refreshing, keep analyzing, keep spiraling. Let them drown in their own curiosity. Because the moment they realize that you're not playing the game anymore, that you are the game, it's already too late. The broadcast ends when you decide it does. The feed stops when you close your eyes. The world falls silent when you smile. Private? Sweetheart, that word doesn't fit you anymore. You're prime time, you're live, you're legend, and the only thing left for them to do is keep watching.